Let's just dive right in. It's been over 9 months since the first Republican presidential debate and an electric exchange between yours truly and Donald Trump. What happened between us then and after would make headlines around the globe. For those 9 long months, he and I did not speak, nor did I ever respond to his attacks. Tonight, for the first time, I'll ask him about that and about his seemingly unstoppable rise to the top of the Republican ticket. And nothing is off limits.
America has never seen anything like the political juggernaut called Donald Trump. A businessman and reality TV star with no political experience burst onto the scene and electrified voters with big threats.
We're gonna knock the hell out of ISIS.
And big promises.
We are going to win in every aspect of our lives.
While explaining the art of the deal,
We're gonna make great trade deals.
he perfected the art of the insult.
It's Rubio.
Against rivals,
Little Marco, Lion Ted.
detractors,
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
and the press,
I would never kill him, but I do hate him.
including yours truly. Beginning with the very first Republican debate.
Mr. Trump, one of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only
has
Rosie
several-
O'Donnell.
Mr. Trump did not like the question at all.
For the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, I'm sure.
Does that sound to you like the temperament of a man we should elect as president?
What I say is what I say. And honestly, Megyn, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
And he sent out a tweet that night.
Wow, Megyn Kelly really bombed tonight.
And a retweet.
Fox viewers give low marks to bimbo Megyn Kelly.
Then he made this remark.
You know, she gets out and she starts asking me all sorts of ridiculous questions. And, you know, you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
And he explained it this way.
I was going to say nose and or ears, because that's a very common statement. Blood pouring out of somebody's nose, it's a statement showing anger.
That set off a firestorm.
This is a candidate who's really had a history of some misogynistic statements.
We've seen Donald Trump do this over and over again.
The pundits said his attacks were political suicide.
More fallout from the latest Republican debate.
I don't know how he thinks he's going to win an election.
His unfavorability with women is skyward.
This weekend surely signaled the end of Trump's campaign.
The pundits were wrong.
An NBC News Survey Monkey poll shows Trump with 23%.
A new poll numbers show that Donald Trump is surging.
The more Trump speaks, the more he spikes.
It didn't matter what he said or how he said it.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. When Mexico sends its people, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Voters were angry, and they liked that he was angry too. In January, he skipped the next Fox News debate.
Megyn Kelly's really biased against me. Do you really think she can be fair at a debate?
Which set off a new torrent of tweets.
80,000 tweets directed towards Megyn Kelly. Vocative broke it down to see what the most popular words were. Crazy Megyn Kelly.
Crazy, overrated.
Bimbo blonde.
She, bimbo Megyn Kelly.
Slut. Hooker.
Days later, he lost the Iowa caucuses. But Trump went on to win, and win some more.
Another big win for Donald Trump.
A huge win for Donald Trump.
And then, a new debate.
Nice to be with you, Megyn.
Great to have you here.
You're looking well. You're looking
As
well.
are you.
Followed by more fallout, and a call to boycott the Kelly file.
Can't watch Crazy Megyn anymore.
Finally, in April, a meeting at Trump Tower.
The meeting was at my request, and Mr. Trump was gracious enough to agree to it.
Donald Trump and his arch nemesis Megyn Kelly are making peace.
Signs of a truce this morning between
Their feud apparently diffused.
You met with Megyn Kelly today. How did that go?
17 candidates down, and Trump is the last man standing, the presumptive Republican nominee. Let's begin.
Thank you for sitting down with me.
Thank you very much. My honor.
Been a long 9 months.
It has been a long time. I agree.
I want to ask you about the beginning of your campaign. There had to be a moment on stage at a campaign rally or one night after a win where it occurred to you I could actually be the president. When was that?
Well, I think the debates were really a big thing. And not to bring up an unpleasant debate, but, you know, that first debate was pretty amazing, and 24 million people watching it, a record on cable television. And I think that meant something. I think that first debate meant something because I felt very, very comfortable with the subject, and I felt very comfortable with the people I was competing against.
Let's talk a little bit about litigation, because you have threatened to sue many people in the course of the campaign. But of course, if you wind up president, you're not going to be able to do that either.
Well,
can you go 4 years without threatening to sue anybody?
Well, what China's done to us is maybe you do the world, you do have methods of suing countries.
It's going to be a busy law firm.
No, it's going to be busy, but it's a little different. And it's also a tactic for me. It's a business for me, and I've been successful, and I've, used litigation, and sometimes I use it maybe when I shouldn't, and sometimes I don't.
Have you made any mistakes in this campaign? You had said publicly you thought the retweet about Heidi Cruz was a mistake. Let me just...
Well, I said I could have done without it, to be exact. I mean, I could have done without it.
You said a mistake. Are you walking that back?
No, I'm not walking it back, but I actually didn't say it that way. I said I could have done without it. I mean,
but it was a mistake, wasn't it? I mean, that you shouldn't have done that,
I wish
right?
I didn't do it. Although, I guess you could say she's fair game because she's very much involved with the campaign. But I don't know. She just seems like a nice woman. Well, you know what? I have millions of followers at Real Donald Trump. I have millions of followers. I have millions of
I'm familiar.
Yes, you are. The thing that gets me in trouble is retweets. The retweet is really more of a killer than the tweets. The tweets I seem to do pretty well with.
So that's one, the Heidi Cruz thing. Let me just give you a list of a couple and tell me whether you have any regrets on it. The comment about John McCain, you prefer people who weren't captured. The comment about Carly Fiorina's face. But do you regret any of those comments?
Yeah, I guess so, but you have to go forward. You make a mistake, you go forward, and you can correct the mistake. But to look back and say, gee whiz, I wish I didn't do this or that, I don't think that's good. I don't even think, in a certain way, I don't even think that's healthy.
I want to talk a little bit about your family. Your older brother, Fred Jr., was an alcoholic and died at a relatively young age. When I say his name, what does that bring up for you?
Well, he was great. He was the most handsome person. He was a really smart guy, really, really smart guy. He had everything. But at a certain age, he started drinking a little bit, a little more, and ultimately it was a big problem. And he'd say, don't ever, ever drink, and don't ever. And I'll tell you what, I have never had a glass of alcohol.
Never?
I mean, I have other problems, okay? But
What are they? Get specific.
I don't want to talk to you about that. That I can't talk about. That would be too good.
You've been divorced twice.
Yes.
Did you learn something about relationships, about love, about yourself?
Well, you have to put more into it. I put so much into my business that I didn't put enough into the relationship. And I see that, and I've learned that. I mean, I have learned that. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about that because that's the way you are. I mean, if somebody told you that you have to ease up, you can only work half the number of hours that you're working, I don't know if you'd be able to do that.
I'd give it a try.
No, but even if they said you'd have an even better relationship with your husband, I hear it's just great. But, I mean, I don't know that you'd be able to do that.
Has anyone ever hurt you emotionally?
Well, I think the big thing would be maybe the death of my brother. That was, the hardest thing for me to take. That was very tough because it's, unnatural. And he saw certain potential in me, and he would say, don't ever have a drink. Now, I don't carry that far with people. I never had a drink. But, people can have a drink, and they can do socially. But, that can lead.
You tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like you're trying to get out of bounds on the emotional question to the subject of alcoholism, which we discussed. Has it happened that somebody has done something to you, not a death in the family, but has done something to you to wound you?
Well, I don't know. I can say this. It would be something I could certainly think about and, come back with. It's all right.
No, it's okay.
But I will say this. When I'm wounded, I go after people hard, okay? And I try and unwound myself.
Most kids between the ages of 6 and 16 have been bullied at some point in their lives. Were you ever bullied?
No, I wasn't. But I have seen bullying, and bullying doesn't have to just be as a child. I mean, I know people are bullied when they're 55 years old.
It can happen when you're 45.
It's it happens, right? But You got to get over it. Fight back, do whatever you have to do.
Let me ask you about that, because most American parents try to raise their kids to not bully, to not name call, to not tease, not taunt. How can they effectively bring that message when the frontrunner for the Republican nomination does all of those things?
Well, I do it really, you know, I've been saying during this whole campaign that I'm a counterpuncher. You understand that. I'm responding. Now, I then respond times maybe 10. I don't know. I mean, I respond pretty strongly. But in just about all cases, I've been responding to what they did to me. So it's not a one-way street.
Let's talk about us.
Okay.
I asked you a tough question about women. Bimbo?
Over your life, Megyn, you've been called a lot worse.